triangles on the ball in Times Square. There are more than 2,600 crystal triangles on that ball, which weighs almost 1,200 pounds. Designers say the theme for 2020 is the gift of goodwill. Millions are expected to watch the ball drop in person in Times Square. As many as 1 billion will be watching it on TV screens, computer screens around the world.
And if you're getting glammed up tomorrow and headed out, you're going to want to know what that forecast is looking like. Mr. G?
We're looking good. I mean, for tonight and tomorrow as well, and tomorrow night. But right now, still got freezing rain, Sullivan, Ulster County. Still got a little bit of light snow mixed in with frozen Dutchess and sleet just to the east of that. Now, everything's light. It's to the north, and it's to the north and east. And when you look at us, we're drying up very nicely. So it's good stuff around here. We'll cool down a little bit, but nothing Arctic in nature. Wind chill factor is going to be in the 20s. Double barrel system, lakes and also coast begins to pull away. High pressure pulls in for a very, very good looking day, New Year's Eve day, 48 degrees. And for the night, for New Year's Eve, clear skies, 39. It'll feel like 31 degrees. Let's get after the 7-day forecast. We'll have it later on.
All right, Jay, thanks.
All right, the new year brings in a host of new laws to New York that could impact you and your family.
Yeah, some include fixes to issues that Pix 11's investigated over the years. Shirley Chan is live for us in the newsroom with what you need to know tonight. Shirley.
Corey, Noreen, some go into effect as soon as we ring in the new year. Others a few months into 2020. We're breaking it all down for you. Minimum wage laws are still being rolled out. On Long Island and in Westchester, it will be increased to $13 an hour, up from $12. It also becomes mandatory for New York City small businesses with 10 workers or less to pay $15 an hour. That falls in line with other city employers. The plastic bag ban starts March 1st. Stores in the state will not be allowed to give out single-use bags, and merchants here in the city will charge 5 cents for every bag. The state law on paid family leave will see increases. Workers will now be entitled to 10 weeks of leave with job protection, and the amount they receive in their weekly salary goes up from 55% to 60% of their wages. However, the amount gets capped at $840 a week. Also starting January 1st, a new state law mandates coverage for IVF. Health plans serving more than 100 employees will be required to cover in vitro fertilization. Another new law will protect you from harassment at work. The statute of limitations for victims to file a sexual harassment complaint will be extended from 1 to 3 years. This goes into effect in August. And the new laws drawing the most attention, those surrounding criminal justice reform. The state is banning cash bail for those charged with misdemeanor offenses or nonviolent felonies. Also of significance, prosecutors will have only 15 days after an arraignment to turn over to defendants and their attorneys the evidence the state has against them. Supporters say this will end the cycle of accused people spending lengthy periods of time in jail awaiting trial, or those pleading guilty to lesser charges without knowing prosecutors may have evidence that exonerates them. And also in 2020, 16 and 17-year-olds can pre-register to vote. And come January 15th, a new law will allow adoptees in New York State to have unrestricted access to their birth certificate once they turn the age of 18. In the newsroom, Shirley Chan, Pix 11 News.
All right, thanks, Shirley.
Well, another school district is really taking a stand on vaccinations, telling students that either get them or don't bother coming back to school. How all that's tied to our area.
Plus, tens of thousands urged to evacuate. Wildfires continuing to ravage Australia amid a heat wave. Why the country's New Year's celebrations are now controversial because of it.
And destruction in the Bronx after a billboard and wind turbine come crashing down. Look at the damage as officials look for the cause. We're back in 90 seconds. Well, a major cleanup's underway tonight after a wind turbine collapsed in the Bronx. The whole top structure fell, taking out a big billboard, and that came down too, for landing in a busy parking lot.
No one was hurt, thankfully, but the investigation into what caused it continues. Pix 11's Jennifer Bisarm is live in Co-op City with the latest. Jen?
Hi there, guys. You know, it really is amazing that no one was hurt during this incident earlier today. And here's why. Take a look. This is a very busy area with lots of businesses. Parts of the wind turbine and the billboard even fell onto parked cars here. And as you can see, the area is still blocked off. Those businesses remain closed at this hour. It's still unclear how long they will be closed for. But what is clear tonight, a full investigation is now underway.
The blade spinning faster and faster, and then it just blew apart like a helicopter propeller, and the steeple that it was on came crashing down.
Basil Rodriguez took this cell phone video that shows the moment a giant wind turbine fell from its mast Monday, taking out a billboard, crushing a parked car, and shutting down this Bronx neighborhood for hours.
I happened to be looking out the window, and out of my peripheral vision, I see the wind turbine just spinning. And then I said, let me get my phone, because the blades broke apart a little bit.
It happened just after 1 this afternoon at the corner of Baychester and Bartow Avenues in Co-op City, a busy area with several businesses.
This has only been up about 2 weeks ago now.
Bronx Councilman Andy King says many people in the community were against the bright billboards and wind turbine going up. We've learned it went up earlier this month.
We said it was inappropriate to put signs that were that bright in this neighborhood. Then they disrespected that and was able to get it done. We tried to negotiate it out. Then they put another one up there, built a wind turbine out of the middle of the night.
Co-op City doesn't need anything like that. We have our own turbines that produce our own electricity.
According to the Department of Buildings, they received multiple complaints on December 12th about workers illegally putting up a dangerously high billboard. After the collapse today, stop work and full vacate orders were issued.
Imagine if this was a school day, how many children would have got hurt today?
Late Monday night, the massive metal cylinder from the turbine remained on the parked sedan. People who live and work nearby are just happy no one was walking around when it collapsed.
Well, that could have been serious.
Yeah.
Somebody could have died from that.
Yeah. Another live look at this area here tonight. You can see that cylinder still on top of that parked sedan. Now, the Department of Buildings says the owner of this building was issued violations. And again, there is a full vacate order on the building, which means those businesses will not be open anytime soon. Again, the investigation into exactly what happened here earlier today remains under investigation. But guys, the good news in all of this, no one here was hurt. We're live in the Bronx tonight. Jennifer Bisram, Pix 11 News.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. But boy, that video just stunning. You see it spin and then just, come down.
So many questions that need to be answered there.
Yeah. All right, G-Man, we have some questions for you, starting with tomorrow night.
The answer is nice.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Stop
for 24 hours.
asking.
The amount of rain around the region, a lot. Okay, and that's the story. We had 1.58 inches, and you see that is in Bating Hollow, and you can see in the city close to Industry, we had about 7 inches so far this month. There's Oakland, there's Ringwood, and of course there's Harrison, New Jersey. Connecticut, you had about an inch, inch and a half. So it's been a very wet period this whole month. At 37 wind chill, 29 north and east, 16 gusting 24 miles per hour. Everything is leaving nicely now. The dry air is beginning to work its way in. The storm is pulling away 2 of them, Great Lakes, Hills, and New England. And now the fetch of air will come in eventually from the south and west, then the west. Could be a snow shower well north of the city, but it's going to be a good-looking New Year's Eve day and a good-looking New Year's Eve night with a wind chill of 43, and that's going to be again tonight and for tomorrow in the early morning. Feel like 31 degrees. And then as we progress through the day into the nighttime hours, the split Tuesday, 48 and 35. There's your Wednesday. There's your Thursday. How about Friday into the weekend? Rain, snow, we'll talk later on.
All right, G, thank you. Well, tens of thousands of people have been urged to evacuate as wildfires rage across southeastern Australia. Still, the nation, they're wondering and if they should push forward with Sydney's New Year's Eve fireworks display. A lot of officials think they should. Some don't. More than, in fact, 250,000 people signed a petition saying it should be scrapped. The petition is urging for the funds to be spent on firefighting efforts instead of all those fireworks. The Australia Bureau of Meteorology predicts the fires are going to get even worse.
All right, tomorrow night is New Year's Eve, as you know, and we're not just saying goodbye to 2019, we're closing out a decade. Hard to believe.
Yeah, in these past 10 years, we've witnessed natural disasters and also confronted fears about global warming. Mary Murphy takes us back.
From Hurricane Harvey to a superstorm named Sandy.
The whole parking lot and beach is flooded out now.
It was a decade defined by extremes.
Oh my God, the building's gonna fall.
A 9.1 magnitude earthquake slammed eastern Japan in 2011, triggering tsunami waves. 19,000 were killed. In 2015, nearly 9,000 died in Nepal's earthquake near Kathmandu. Although there were miracles dug out of the rubble, a beautiful baby providing a measure of hope.
Still got about 11 or 15 people missing.
From natural disasters to environmental, the BP fire in April 2010 killed 11 workers and spilled 5 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico.
They still got a pile of snow.
New Yorkers get flustered by snowstorms, and for those who don't like even the mildly unexpected,
what's wrong with this road? The plow just, it's not a road.
A Christmas weekend blizzard in 2010 stunned us with 2 to 3 feet of snowfall.
We did not do as good a job as we wanted to do.
In August 2011, a tropical storm left 3 million of us without electricity. But Irene was really just a warm-up for what came next.
Nobody alive has ever seen this. Nobody.
Certainly, the tri-state had never seen a storm like Sandy.
We have major debris.
The ferocious winds and rushing waters swept away a mother and sons on Staten Island.
In comes the water.
And spawned a massive fire in Breezy Point, Queens. 7 subway tunnels flooded. Hundreds of trees toppled over onto houses and cars.
Which is your house?
I live all the way down there.
Where were you when I called you, Kate? We need power!
LIPA is the only entity that can turn on your electricity.
You want us to arm up? Because you're not helping us? My neighbor got robbed at gunpoint.
As of today, the United States will cease all implementation of the non-binding Paris Accord.
In 2017, as international attention turned to global warming and climate change.
Let's start with the front page of tomorrow's Daily News.
The president ended up defending the U.S. response to Hurricane Maria, a Category 5 storm that killed more than 3,000 in Puerto Rico and nearby islands. This satellite image showing how the electric grid was wiped out overnight. The president and first lady flew to the U.S. territory, the media having a field day as Donald Trump tossed paper towels to survivors. 16 months later, the Tony-winning creator of Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, brought the show to Puerto Rico.
History has its eyes.
There's no question about it. This show is going to make its mark.
I just love this island so much.
On the medical front, the West African Ebola crisis was declared a public health emergency of international concern in 2014.
We continue to accelerate our response.
A promising vaccine was developed by the decade's end. Accidents caused by human error or baffling medical conditions made headlines throughout the decade. A casino bus driver who fell asleep in March 2011 lost control near the Hutchinson River Parkway and 14 people were killed.
I heard something that sounded like a giant explosion, like a plane crash, and I saw the train derail.
The Metro North Hudson line has 29 stops, and the 4 commuters who perished aboard the 5:54 a.m. from Poughkeepsie all boarded at different points.
NTSB has arrived on site.
Then in 2016, the guy who accelerated coming into the Hoboken, New Jersey transit station was diagnosed with severe sleep apnea. In 2015, a gas explosion in a sushi restaurant on East 7th Street proved deadly.
Found my brother Nicholas.
In 2018, a sightseeing ride out of Kearny, New Jersey had started promising enough. But minutes later, 5 tourists were killed when the helicopter plunged into Manhattan's East River, trapped by their safety harnesses. Wildfires decimated about 1 million acres in California, and as the decade was ending, a storm named Dorian brought devastation once again, this time in the Bahamas. A volcanic eruption on the opposite side of the world killed tourists in New Zealand.
I fear there is worse news to come.
And for the French, there was still uncertainty about the future of their iconic cathedral in Paris, Notre Dame, after a massive fire that may have started with a cigarette.
Now it's Mary Murphy with a look back. Wow, a lot in the past decade.
And then Notre Dame, the last image right there that we saw, we are hearing more and more that this church may never be back on its feet ever again.
Yeah. All right. Looking ahead now, Black Monday in the NFL. The Giants making some big moves. We've got news from firing day still ahead.
Plus, an alternative to Times Square. We're running down your options coming up.
Well, even more schools are banning students who have not been vaccinated. In Seattle, thousands of kids have to get vaccinated within 10 days or they can't return to class. A new law was passed in Washington state after 2 measles outbreaks this year. It bans vaccine exemptions for personal or philosophical reasons. To help meet the needs, schools in the area are actually turning into free clinics.
She rolled my sleeve up and she put alcohol on my arm, and I just got a shot.
Roughly 2,000 students still need to be vaccinated. If a student shows up without meeting the school's requirements, they will be separated from other students until a parent can pick them up. Measles outbreaks across the country have led other states to take action. Back in June, New York passed a law eliminating religious exemptions for vaccines. That rule applies to all public and private schools.
A federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit from a witness in President Trump's impeachment. Charles Cooperman had filed the suit to challenge a House subpoena for him to testify in the impeachment inquiry. Cooperman was a deputy to former National Security Advisor John Bolton. The House had previously withdrawn their subpoena, and in a 14-page opinion, the judge wrote, as a result, the lawsuit is now unnecessary.
Some subway delays to tell you about tonight, and this wasn't signal issues to blame. Instead, it was a critter that has commuters and police at wit's end.
Plus, avoid the crowds while still celebrating the new year. There are plenty of alternatives to Times Square. When we come back, Greg Mocker is looking at the offbeat ways to bring in 2020.
You're watching the Pix 11 News at 10.
Well, the world will be watching Times Square as the ball drops on New Year's Eve, but people are also making plans that will take them to all corners of this great city. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Corey Chambers.
And I'm Narmeen Chaudhry in for Tamsin. Some are looking for a party and others just planning a nice night at home.
Yeah, Greg Mocker shows us some of the options.
You could choose the confetti or celebrate a big evening out. For previous New Year's Eves, we've searched for the hot ticket. This year, follow the lights. The Avenue will be a happening place. Surf's up. Coney Island, iconic, family-friendly. There'll be music and no waiting for hours.
The focal point this year is the parachute jump, so there'll be a light sequence coming down to count down the 10 seconds to midnight.
Fireworks are also scheduled at Prospect Park and Central Park. Blogs and neighborhood associations have advertised extravaganzas of all kinds along small business corridors and at restaurants with a view. For many, the best venue of all is Home Sweet Home. Erica Turner just finished up her advanced degree.
A whole lot of work.